What's up? Figured I'd do a pickups video for some Switch games that I've gotten recently. So I don't know the ins and outs of these games, I just know kind of like a general idea of what these games are about, because these are kind of new releases on the Switch, and I haven't played them, obviously. And these are games that I actually do really want to play, so eventually I'll know more about them, but figured I would just talk about them. So the first game up is going to be a game called Kataria Fables. I've heard this game described kind of as Cat Quest mixed with Rune Factory. Yeah, so like this game is an action RPG game that mixes farming simulator in with it. And so like the farming simulator slash combat part comes from Rune Factory. And then you play is like a cat in this world with other animals. So I guess that's the part that comes from Cat Quest. But the graphics in this game look pretty good. The game looks like it kind of plays like Secret of Mana or something like that, like one of the old Squaresoft action RPG games. Looking forward to playing this game. Action RPG, farming simulator, can never go wrong. The next game up is going to be kind of in that same vein, Monster Harvest. This is going to be another game that mixes an RPG with farming simulation. So this game plays more like Stardew Valley. It presents itself kind of more like Stardew Valley as well. This one, however, would be more like Stardew Valley crossed with Pokemon, in that so you grow crops, and then like it plays like Stardew Valley. You live in this town, there's other people you can talk to, there's quests that you can get from those people, like daily quests and whatnot. People buy your crops, whatever. And then there's also at least one mine. I think there's more than one mine, but definitely one mine. And when you go into the mines, it kind of turns into a Pokemon style game. So when you go into, like, say there's a grass patch or something like that, there's a chance for a monster encounter where you can have one of your own homegrown monsters do Pokemon style combat with this other monster. And like that concept seems really cool to me, and it seems like when you think about it, the concepts go really well together. So this one I think is going to be pretty close to my next to play game. It might not be the exact next game that I play, but it's definitely going to be within the next 3 games that I play. So I'm super excited to get to this one. And then the next one is going to be a Monster Crown. So this one is basically a Pokemon clone, and this one has the art style of like the old Pokemon games, so like Pokemon Red and Blue, and then Yellow, and what was it, like Gold and Silver. Like it looks like a very old Pokemon game, which I kind of appreciate. I heard this game is kind of buggy in its current state, so I'm probably going to hold off playing it for a little bit, but I still wanted to get the physical copy of this game because these kind of games seem like there will be the type of game that become harder and more expensive to get later on. And yeah, so this game looks like it's going to be pretty good. It seems like it's pretty faithful to what inspires it, so I've watched a little bit of gameplay of it. Like I said, down to the music, down to the way that the character moves, down to the environment, the art style, like it's a Pokemon clone through and through. So like I said, once this game stabilizes a little bit, they patch it some, maybe I'll bump it up a little bit higher on the playlist, but for now I'm going to put it on the wait list. But again, wanted to get a physical copy of it. Okay, this next game is going to be a game called Hunt Down. This game looks awesome. This game feels like it's a mix between, say, like Cyberpunk 2077 and some cheesy action sci-fi movie from the 80s. The details in this game look amazing. Like seeing this game in motion is something to behold, and I would encourage everybody, if this game tickles your fancy at all, definitely look up some gameplay of it. But it's basically going to be a side-scrolling run and gun shooter. Yeah, so it's pretty action oriented. So you can pick like one of 3 bounty hunters that I saw at the beginning, and then you go on these things called hunt downs, which are like bounty hunts. And then the goal is to make it through an area and then take down your bounty, and yeah, you move on. The way that the story kind of presents itself reminds me of, say, like Cyberpunk 2077, and I think that that's pretty cool. There's a lot of voice acting in this game, and it seems like the voice acting was high quality from the clips that I watched. And then the act, like the meat and potatoes of this game, the run and gun shooting, seems like it's pretty solid, and there's like a large array of weapons that you can pick up and then use within the level. All right, next game up is going to be Chris Tales. So this is a turn-based RPG game. This game has actually gone on sale quite a few times. I think it released a few months ago, so like within that few months, this game has gone on sale quite a few times, and it looks like it's pretty cool. So this is, like I was saying, a traditional turn-based RPG game. I think the term JRPG gets thrown around, but when you look at this game, it's clearly not going to look like any JRPG you've ever played before. It has a very non-Japanese look to it, but it has a very unique look to it. And like it's a 2D RPG game, but you're moving around in a 3D space, which might sound weird when I say it, but if you look at gameplay of this game, it looks really good in motion, and the combat looks like any turn-based combat game you've ever played. It seems pretty solid. The story seems pretty solid. The characters seem pretty solid. So I'm excited to get into this game. Like I said, with Black Friday and kind of holiday sales coming up, plus the fact that this game has already gone on sale without those kinds of sales, I would imagine that this game's going to be pretty cheap. So maybe one to put on your watch list if you're interested in new RPGs to get on the Switch. But in general, it seems like it's going to be a pretty solid game. All right, this next one up. I was actually pretty excited about when I first heard about it. So it's going to be this game called Astra Ascending, and I got this game for two reasons. One, this is a very, 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 very good looking game. So it has a couple different art styles to it, actually. There's cutscenes in this game that are like they have hand-drawn animation that kind of have a style from, say, like 90s Saturday morning cartoons, and like I really like the art style to it. And then the other art style to it, which is the one you'll see probably more often than not, just based on the videos that I watched, was that it looks like a Vanillaware game, like a game heavily inspired by Vanillaware's art style, and it looks very good in motion. So this is like a side-scrolling turn-based RPG. Like I said, it kind of looks like a Vanillaware game. You have a large party of characters when you go into battles and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then the way that the environments look, it kind of reminds me of, say, some kind of Vanillaware RPG mixed with Hollow Knight. Like the vibes that I get from seeing these environments reminds me of Hollow Knight quite a bit. And so that seems like this game is going to be a pretty good time. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention, so one of the things that I've just noticed as I've been collecting over the years is that certain publishers have games that are just harder to find as time goes on. And probably the one that I've noticed this the most with is Maximum Games. Like Maximum Games published games tend to be difficult to find at later points in time for whatever reason. Like on every console that I've put time into that they actually publish games on, I have noticed that finding Maximum Games tends to be pretty difficult task after a certain point. And so when I saw that Maximum Games was publishing a JRPG that looked this good, I really wanted to get this now, like at its launch, so I didn't have to worry about trying to find a copy of this game later. If you are into RPGs, I would definitely put this one on your watch list, because like I said, this just has the trappings of a game that's going to be kind of difficult to find later down the line. And then the last game that I have here is this game called Undernauts, Labyrinth of Yomi. And I actually didn't know that much about this game. I just saw this game in motion a little bit and just knew that this was a game that was right up my alley. So this is a first-person dungeon crawler, and the art style in this game as well is just super insane. Like, it is such a good-looking game. It kind of gives me Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey vibes, if you ever played that game or saw that game in motion. Aside from that, I don't know too much about this game, so this game is actually going to be the game that I'm going to be playing next, and I am super excited to start playing this game. Like, I'll probably just play this game at night and just enjoy it after work and stuff. But this game, like I was saying, just it looks like a hardcore first-person dungeon crawler, and I've been looking for a game kind of like the Dark Spire on the Switch and I have yet to find it. And I feel like this game might give me those same feels on the Switch. I don't think any of these games are Switch exclusives. I think all of these games have multi-platform releases on at least the Switch and the PS4 and PS5, probably the Xbox series or consoles as well. But I like buying games on the Switch these days. Like, I don't really buy games on any other console, or at least physical games I basically only buy on the Switch, because I'm trying to limit my physical game buying as much as possible. And I just like the form factor of Switch games is really nice. Like on the shelves back there, it's basically my entire Switch collection, and it's nice and compact. It's easy to box up whenever I feel like I want to move, and they don't take up a ton of space. But anyways, yeah, so that's gonna do it for this Switch pickups video. Thanks for checking out the video. I hope you had a great weekend, and until the next time, peace.